Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss question number 3 of CODECHEF long challenge. In this question, first we discussed the logic part, then I explained the code part. In first of all, in logic part, it's simple that we have an array A of length n, which contains n integers, and we have to shuffle the array A in such a way that the sum of the elements of B is maximum, where the ith element of array B is equal to ith element of A plus I position of that element modulo 2. This is given in the question. We want sum to be maximum, so we can say that we want bi to be as maximum as possible, but here bi is given as ai plus I modulo 2, so bi modulo 2, so here the maximum value of bi is 1. There are only two possible values. Bi can be either 1 or it is 0. So we indirectly we want to make ai plus I modulo 2 to be 1, uh, for as much I as much possible. So indirectly we can say that we want the sum of ai plus I to be odd. So sum of two numbers is odd only when one is even and other is odd. Sum of two odd number is even and sum of two even number is even. So there are two possibility. Either ai is that ith element of a after shuffling is even, and I that means position of that element is odd, and second option is ai is odd or and I is even. So our task is just simple as this. We have to count the number of possibility of these two types and add them. We code for this question. This question is that first we take the input of the array for each test case, and for each test case when we take the input of array, we find the number of odd integers in that array and number of even integers in that array. I will explain it use later. Find a number of odd and even numbers in that array, and secondly find a number of odd and even numbers from 1 to n. This is to find that how many odd and even numbers are there from 1 to n. It is simple. If n is even, then it is clear that half of them is odd and half of them is even, is that n by 2 is even and n by 2 is odd. But if n is odd, then for example if n is 3, then there are two odd, 1 and 3, and one even, is that 2. So so when n is odd, number of even number is equal to n by 2. As 3 by 2, we take here our data type as long, so it does not take the fractional part. So 3 by 2, for example 3 by 2 equal to 1, and the number of odd number is equal to 1 more than that number of even. So this is to find the number of odd and number of even numbers present from 1 to n. Now our task is to cross connect them, is that to connect the number of even integers in array ai and number of odd numbers from 1 to n, and connect ai and number of odd integers in the array and the number of even number from 1 to n. So just we find the number of let's assume that number of even numbers in array is x and the number of odd is y. This can be easily calculated by using a for loop, and for finding the number of even numbers from 1 to n, I have given the formula, which is just simple formula. Now our task is to find the number of connection which we formed of type 1, is that in which ai is even and I is odd. For that we just calculate the minimum value of x and y1. Here x is the number of even numbers in the array and y1 is the number of odd numbers from 1 to n. And for type 2 we find the minimum of y comma x1, is that here y is the number of odd numbers in the array and x1 is the number of even numbers from 1 to n, and just we add them, we get the final answer. This is the correct logic. I have already solved that, you can check it. Thank you.